discussed my opinion on what the best thing, I guess, legacy, inheritance, whatever, that you can leave for your kids is. Wait, what's the best legacy that you can leave for your kids? There you go. So, in my opinion, I think that given the society that we're into and the way that it just works, I think definitely by far the best thing that you can do for your kids is to not leave them with debt. Like, there's people out there who maybe own businesses and whatnot, and maybe that business is not doing too well, and all of a sudden you die, and then you had established in your will that your kids are going to inherit this. Let's say that your kids are relatively young, like, let's say that they're in the minors range, because it is possible. Like, nowadays, most people are waiting to have their stuff together, like financially, before they even start having kids. So we can assume that children are going to be pretty small. And although it is established that you gotta wait until they turn of an adult age, like 18 or whatever, for them to actually have access to that money or business, whatever, um, still, the best thing that you can do is to not leave your kids with any kind of debt that belongs to you. So, because it's not only that your kids get to inherit money and your goods and anything that belongs to you, that also belongs to you. So, try to keep that mess as sorted out as possible so that nobody else who is like close to you or next to you has to deal with that headache. That's how I imagine that works. Don't take my word for it, as when it comes to the explanation for that, I may be totally wrong. Maybe there is some kind of protection um, for people inheriting stuff. Like, it's not your fault that this business sucked, so somehow you're protected. I don't know. I'm just assuming that if you have something that is not going well for you and you had established that your kids are going to be involved in it because you assumed that it was going to have success, then it's belonging to them upon your departure from this world. That's the scenario that I'm assuming. So it may vary, but I'm just saying, overall, do not leave your kids with any debt, and additionally, encourage them to practice good um, money management stuff so that they themselves do not end up in a trap, whether you are alive or not. Another important thing that I think you can leave for your kids as a legacy is a trouble free kind of legacy. Like, what I mean by that is, you don't want to be the kind of parent who is associated with having been involved with too many people, and to that many people you owed something. Like, let's say, if you owed something to someone, you made sure that you paid it back or you gave it back, or stuff like that. Also, when it comes to your relationships, you made sure that everything was sorted. Like, if they have children, if you have children with a different parent from your kids, you just let them know that those are their siblings as well, and to just try to get along as best as possible, because the circumstances in which y'all came about is not really your fault. So basically, what I'm saying is not having any strain on the social level, because I can't say that I've really been there from that perspective, because my mom was uber responsible. But if my dad would have been the one to have custody of me, yeah, that would have been pretty messy. Because just to give you an example, there is one sibling that I know that I have met through social networks, but I have never met this guy in person, and I only found out of his existence when I was 13 years old, 12 years old. So yeah, let's not leave that kind of a mess. Also, just leave your kids with good values. Like, teach them to not value stuff that in the end you don't take with you. So let me explain. Do not value material stuff so much. That stuff can be replaced, and it's really not something that you're born with, and it is not something that you're going to take with you once you pass away, you know? It's also just a terrible thing because it kind of, how can I say that, this desensitizes you, sensitize you. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is that you're so focused on material goods that you don't even develop the skills to deal with people, living, breathing, thinking, feeling people. So I think it's important that you teach your kids to not love money, and that it's just, it's kind of hard to put into words because the way that I visualize how I'm going to bring up my kids, it's like I know what to do, but not exactly how to explain how I'm going to go about it. But just know that material stuff, I don't want to say is the root of all evil, but at the same time, there's other stuff out there that you should really invest time and effort to. Just saying. Um, so I guess in the same manner that you don't want to leave your kids indebted, you don't want to leave your kids wishing that they had more. Like if you grow up poor or in a family that was mostly broke for the most time, just remember that your essentials as a living being are always going to be to drink water, to eat, to sleep, and to protect yourself from the elements through clothes and everything. So if you have that stuff sorted, everything else is just an etc. So that's really what I urge most people to focus on because that's really what matters. So I think that's the best legacy that you can leave for your kids. Like lead them through the right path mentally so that they don't end up engulfed in a trap of their values being wrong. But then again, I'm not saying that I have the right answers. Maybe it is all right to value stuff that I just said that I wouldn't value. So it's a completely personal, independent thing. But like I said, this is like everything that I post, this is my personal opinion, my point of view. You don't have to agree, you don't have to disagree. So, anyways, um, I just really think that that's the most optimal way to be. For me, that's what has made me feel fulfilled. Like, I know that if something happens to my mom, she pretty much doesn't leave me with anything that I have to worry about. Like, no debts, nothing like that. And she also gave me great principles. Like, I just know what my values are, and I am perfectly happy the way that I am. So I have to thank her for that. And I'm hoping that in the future, when I have kids, my kids express something similar to what I'm expressing today. That would let me know that I did the right thing, that type of thing. And no, JJ, I am not necessarily telling you how to raise your kids. I'm just trying to share how I think I'm going to go about it and what's optimal to do. And guess what? You have arrived at a an opportune time because I'm getting to the conclusion of this stream. So, yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to catch up with you later, but it's not like we won't catch up soon. So, bye. Let me know what you think. You,